Hello there, good people. I am here to celebrate. I recently just did a video about something, and we are going to be doing one of those major accomplishment celebration videos here today because this video is number 100. Yes, super excited. I have been a part of that challenge that Miss Glow Autonomo has put out. And I am so excited to say that this is it. And there's so much to talk about here. We'll see how much I can get through in this moment, but I'm super excited about it. What's really funny is that I thought I thought that I had met the goal a little while back, or that I was about to, because I mistakenly had dropped it down to 90, and only to realize, yeah, no, it was not 90, because a little reminder came up in my phone about the 100. I was like, oh, I was so eager to get going, to get to that number, that I had dropped it down in my head and made it a whole new thing. So I came back and I honored it, and here we are. And I'm super, super proud of myself and hope that you will celebrate this accomplishment with me. And let me tell you, like, a little bit of the backstory and what it means, yes, for me, and reaching this goal and this accomplishment, but what it can mean for you in terms of pursuing goals and accomplishments, dreams, or whatever it might be for your own self, right? So I hope that there's something that you can gather from it. It's not about necessarily you going out and doing this particular challenge, but rather whatever it is you challenge yourself to know that you too can stick with it and make it through to the end. Yes. Because when I tell you, it was not necessarily easy getting to this point. So here's the backstory. The backstory is, doing videos is not new or fresh to me. I've been doing this for, gosh, I think it's over 10 years now. I lost count. And I started out being very hesitant about being on camera. Now, mind you, I've been a public speaker since I was in high school. So I didn't have a problem with speaking, and I'd written speeches and I'd given speeches, and I've done all of that stuff. But when it came to putting it on video for like the small screen, way back when, I was like completely like, yeah, no, that's not me. And so, long time ago, that's literally how my first consistency challenge just started for myself. Was a 30-day consistency challenge where my goal was simply to record myself on video for a few minutes talking every day. And I remember some of those videos, they were horrid, y'all. And I remember, because I was very competitive and still am, I would go and I'd realize, oh crap, I've gone all day and I haven't done my video. So there I am at like 11:50 at night, recording practically in the dark so that I could meet my own goal for the day. Did that. Yes, I did. And so over the years, I became much more comfortable, to the point that I was recording my coffee chat series. Started off as one time a day. I was doing one time a week. I was doing videos inside a private Facebook group that I had. So that added another one. Then I added a second coffee chat. So I was recording 2 or 3 times a week, and with teaching videos. And then I started doing little clips. Once that I was not doing editing from the videos that I had created, I was doing additional little mini clips, right? And little tips videos. So totally like had this down. And then I just started realizing I was getting a little tired. So I kind of started backing out a little bit, and I started repurposing some things until I got to a year where I just decided I am going to step away for an entire year because I need to know where I'm going to next. And I really wasn't sure what I was going to be doing next. And I needed some time not to be always preparing to get to that point. So the challenge then became, hey, you have years worth of content. Can we, let's see how far we can get. And in that time period, I literally went 11 months with only repeating one video, and that was a mistake. 11 months of doing 2 videos per week that were repurposed, so nothing fresh, nothing new. And then just gave myself the month off in December from even doing that, which is what I had been doing recently. But when I got to that point, I was like, what am I going to do next? And when I decided that I wanted YouTube to be my new platform, um, primarily because before, I'll be honest, I was just using YouTube as storage. Like all of these coffee chats and things like that, you can go check them out. They're there, right? But I wasn't doing it deliberately with that first. It was with another platform first. And I was like, well, what do I want this to be? And I had this all laid out, and it just seemed to kind of replicate the coffee chat things, which is not exactly what I want to do. I want it to be more conversational. I wanted to be able to talk about more things, right? Not just the career development. I've done that. But let's talk about being a leader. Let's talk about what it looks like to be a leader in the community. Let's talk about what it looks like to build relationships in real time and to take care of yourself after getting burned out and being an advocate for yourself throughout all of that. Like those are things I wanted to talk about and have more freedom to do it. And so I was still struggling and putting it off when I had been following. Oh, and then she started talking about, hey, you know what, if you want to join in, like here's some recommendations for joining in. And I said, you know what, I think I can do this. Let me do this. Now, doing a video every day for 100 days is a lot even for me. Especially like I said, I just taken almost over a year off from doing fresh videos. I had a few collab pieces that I was doing because I didn't even mention the collabs that I had recorded as well. So over and above those other weekly videos that I was doing. And I had these collab series. So I was like, yeah, I need to get back in. I need to get these juices revived. But I knew that I was like, well, this could be a little much because every day is a lot. Every day is a lot. I'm like, I am not the TV, like I am not a news anchor. And so I was like, but I'm going to rise to that challenge. And so I did. And so I started it in February of 2026 and got along. And then, of course, what, maybe a month and a half in, had some travel, got sick. There were some things that for me were not as much of a problem as it would have been for a true newbie because I had the experience, right? So I know how to batch video, I know how to make adjustments, but I was trying to be true to the challenge and what she was recommending, which is to do it every day to exercise that muscle and to get back into the habit of it and not just jumping into batching because that would be easier to fall off the wagon. And having been there, done that, I knew that to be true. So for me, the challenge was not going straight to batching because I knew how to do that, but rather to actually stick with doing something every day to get that muscle working again and forcing me to be able to come up with fresh things to talk about on a daily basis that weren't scripted, right? So all of these other little caveats, they were very challenging, even for me, because it was taking me off my game of what I would have normally done. And I think that has been not just a saving grace, but an actual win because it really helped me to get back into the extemporaneous speaking mode that I've always loved. It's how I was trained as a speech and debate girl back in high school. Like extemporaneous speaking, speaking off the cuff with few notes or whatever, like that was always my thing. And I always loved it. So that helped feed back into that. And then also overcoming those challenges of days when you get sick, days when you're just not feeling well, or the calendar, something in the schedule does not go as planned. So you're having to adjust. And so those were, again, the muscles for me that needed to be exercised again because I hadn't been doing it in a while. And it was necessary to get back in that mode. One of the more difficult things, because I had some other goals that I have, for like my reading goals and other things that I want to do. And I had to really recognize that I really wanted for this to be front and center. So that would require stepping back on some other things that I was focused on or make an adjustment so that I could make this top priority. And so that was always a reminder as well, because old me would have been still driving hard on all the things. And that defeats the purpose because I would not have been, something would have fallen off and things were going to fall off anyways. I mean, I've been sick. We had a health crisis in my family. My daughter graduated from grad school halfway across the country. Like all the things were going on. So it's not like life stopped lifing because life kept lifing. And it's a matter of knowing what it felt like to make adjustments, to then start incorporating some of the skills I already knew, which was okay, I'm going to have to batch a few of these videos here, but not to get too far away so that I get comfortable with not doing the everyday thing. Um, and so that's how I got to that point where I thought it was almost done, but I forgot. It was 100, not 90, because I was like, I want to get this, I want to get to this point, and I want to have these done before we go on our trip to California for my daughter's graduation. And unfortunately, I did not meet that goal because of the family health crisis that came along right before that. So literally, there was about 3 weeks that were completely off. It was just off. And I had to be like, okay, I didn't quite get that done. But guess what? It's my goal. I get to adjust. So that's what I did. I'm like, guess what? I'm still going to get to this 100. It may not have been consecutive, and it's okay because what? Life. And I'm so proud to still say that I have done this. And here's the thing about this, what makes this so fantastic is I've done 100 videos in a year before. When I started realizing what I was doing before, it's absolutely insane. I've done 2 videos a year new for several years before I started repurposing them and putting things on a cycle or whatever. So I've done that because I was doing them 2 per week. And even if I missed a few, 50 weeks, get times 2 gets you to 100 easily. So I had done that, but to do it in days, that was a whole other thing. And when I'm like, oh, so if I pop back now, this is nothing. I've literally just done what I would have previously done in a year. I just did it in 4 months. Yes. I mean, so there we are. Hello. I need to have celebration things going on behind me. You're not going to get that level of editing just yet in this video, but it'll come. It will come. So I'm super excited about that. So what does this mean? I mean, like, my lessons learned, I've talked about the growth, about the reset, which I've talked a little bit about in other videos. The consistency part, which for me, I realized consistency in that word, which is a little loaded for a very long time until I learned to acknowledge what it really means. It's not about doing something, quote, every single day, but it's about making the commitment to whatever it is you want to get done and making sure you take action along the way that aligns with fulfilling the commitment. Once I reset what consistency meant and to equate it to achieving the commitment that and making the commitment that I want, whole different world. Because then I know, like, this is going to happen regardless. It's just a matter of time and doing the thing, right? and building out what's next, right? This is a longer haul thing. This is not instantaneous. I'm shifting to doing things for a longer term benefit, and I'm okay with that. That's a whole other thing. Being okay with that, which is the counter to what people want. Just like, oh, you gotta hurry, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Nope, nope, nope. This is a long-term strategy, and I'm here for it. Right? So that's it. And just that simple perseverance. It's not simple, but persevering through the challenges, through illness, through health crises, through travel and all the things and just life, right? I'm still serving on boards here locally and was helping with some different events. I'm like, all of those things play into it because it affects my capacity, my energy levels, and my capacity to do something on any given day. And it takes some energy to say, okay, I'm ready to show up on camera today. It is not as easy because there are days I'm like, I don't feel that. let me roll back over, pull up my blanket and a pillow, and I'm like, I'll do that later. There have definitely been those days. So persevering through that has been a reminder as well that, like, yeah, I can do this. It's not just possible, it's just going to be done. So then it kind of gets me to the next, like, what's next? And I think specifically when it comes to the video creation, the next part is I'm not going to do them daily because I don't need to do them daily for my goals that I want for this channel, but I do need to do them, quote, consistently, right, to remain committed. So I think I'm probably going to pull back to about 4 videos a week. We'll see what that ends up being. What's the right number? But it's going to be about making sure that I'm able to communicate on the topics that I want to continue to share on, to be able to still move forward with conversations that I want to. It also may mean also being able to pull back in those collab series that I used to do, that I was wanting to do, but I realized I couldn't quite do them. So now this may be an opportunity to pull some of those back in as a part of this. I don't know quite yet what that'll look like, but that's definitely going to happen because I've got like 3 or 4 people that they're on a list. We have talked about doing this and it hasn't happened yet. So, and I know I'm going to be the one to initiate it. So, or reinitiate it. So we'll look and see what that looks like, pulling this back in, and then also recognizing that even if I pull back to 4 videos a a week, for the remainder of this current calendar year, that gets me almost to a whole nother 100. So like there I am. I'm like, that's crazy. Doing twice as many as what I would have previously done, and not realizing that that's possible. The other piece of it is really evolving and working a little more on technique, on defining what I want things to do, doing some of the things to make the videos, not, I won't say to make them prettier, but more digestible, and using the content from them on other platforms, which is what I originally wanted to do anyways, but just the flow wasn't right. Like I hadn't decided what that was going to be. And now I'm much closer to deciding what that is and how to use the content for that purpose. So that's why, again, we're talking about managing energy for things, pulling back on the number of videos so that I can go deeper, is really where I'm headed next, and I'm super excited about that. So there we are. I'm like super excited, and it'll allow me some time to focus on some other goals that I have when it comes to content development that I have been putting off, of course, for some time, and it's time to dive into them. So, this is about energy management, about capacity, and making some shifts while I continue to do the videos. I will continue to do the videos because I love doing video work, and I honestly have missed it. It just needed the right avenue to get back in, and this has been it. And that will also allow me to develop more in some other ways so that I can share more with you all. So excited. How many times have I said that? Yes. Uh, I would love, love, love to get your input on, if there are topics that you're interested in having me share on. This is still always going to be about focusing on women of color primarily, and making sure that we can become the best people that we can be as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as CEOs, whatever our quote titles are, and titles that are not, like to help you be better at who you are, to build the relationships that you really want and need at wherever you are in your life and career, and to be a stronger advocate for yourself, for others. I'm really going to spend some more time on the advocacy piece of this because I think it's relevant to the times that we're in. And always, always repeat of the reminder of the importance of self care, and how self care is not just about massages and manicures or whatever, but it's really about what are you doing to feed your soul on a regular basis and sticking to it no matter what, right? Those are the things that I want to continue to be able to share here. And of course, some fun things, that fit into that, because I define that way, which is sharing in the hobbies and the conversations, and a little bit of pop culture, not a lot, but as it relates to the things that we've been talking about. So I look forward to it. If there are certain little things or topics that you may be interested in, I'd love to hear that. Hit up me up in the comments with that. DM me, as I'm always looking for interesting topics. There's going to be some thematic things. I started already, my book talk. So that's part of my one of my own personal challenges, is getting through a certain list of books. My anchor books is what I call them, plus whatever other things I might decide to read, so that I can revive my love for reading, not just buying all the books, but to actually read them. So that's been incorporated into this project, as well as I like to call them ripped from the headlines, because sometimes there are just things that are going on, and I'm like, oh my god, we got to talk about that and why that matters. So there will still be some of those ripped from the headlines type of conversations. Um, the hobbies happy hour. You got to hear about that, because it's really important. That's that part of engaging in self care that matters for you, even if it's not to the benefit of anyone or anything else, because it doesn't have to be productive to be valuable and to be worthy. So, or it doesn't have to be productive to an external party, I should say. Um, so, those are things. And what are a couple of others? I think there are a couple of other things that you'll see, but in general, those are things we'll be continuing to talk about, and keep it kind of focused and evolve from there. All right. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this 100th video. I look forward to sharing so much more for you in the days, weeks, and months ahead, and look forward to sharing. Please share this out. Hit the thumbs up and the like button, so that we can push this out to as many more people as possible, as we build up this channel. And as always, remember to celebrate you in all the ways and all the things, because it matters. You are worth celebrating. It's an empowerment tool that will help build you, and help you to grow as a person, for yourself first and for the others around you second. All right. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.